right, so the auteur, Christopher Stokes, is back, the director of both Adopted 1 and 2, and hopefully 3. But we'll wait with bated breath. So, yeah. This is one that I wanted to rush to the review of because it's fading from my memory as I speak. You know, I saw the trailer to this movie in the theater, which is kind of crazy to me, and this actually did release in AMC. If you go to the comments or the reviews on IMDb right now, you will see that there are tons of people being like, how the hell did this get into a theater? Yeah, that's a good question. That's a good question. People were blaming money laundering. It's not a bad guess because that's about the only thing that makes sense. So, of course, you're probably wondering why the hell would you watch a movie like this? You saw the trailer, it was terrible. It's from a director that's awful, right? Like, it's going to be bad. And yes, it's bad for sure, as expected. But, for those of you who caught the Adopted review and Adopted 2 review, I had a lot of fun laughing at how ridiculous those films were. And I was like, okay, this time he's got an alien movie. This could be comedy gold. It wasn't. Unfortunately, this one was just bad and boring. So I'm pretty bummed out, to be honest. Like, I genuinely thought that this would be super entertaining in like a so bad it's good kind of way, because Adopted 1 and 2 are very much that, and I had a ton of fun watching Adopted 1 and 2 because of those reasons. But this one, I'm going to put the blame exactly where it, should be, which is at Chris Stokes. He's just a bad director. Like, plain and simple. Sometimes I'll extend the courtesy of blaming it on the budget or blaming it on whatever. But no, Chris Stokes is just a bad director. Just plain and simple. Like, he has adequate gear to make a film that looks good. He still somehow fails, even though it's like very clean and slick. It still feels so void of any style at all. It's like the guy went to a basic film school, learned all of the techniques, and just uses and sprinkles in all of what he learned without any reason. Right? He doesn't make any artistic choices ever. He literally just takes the basic concepts of framing and camera movement, and he just applies them for no actual like purpose. It's some of the worst directing. It might be the worst directing maybe I've ever seen, because you can tell he has some knowledge of how to work the camera, and he has the gear, but he just doesn't use it for anything. It's kind of maddening to watch. When I was watching, I was really paying attention to the way everything is shot in this movie, and just thinking about like, what purpose does this serve, right? Not that it needs to exactly, always. Sometimes, you're just more focused on telling a good story and whatever, and the like the artistic expression of filmmaking kind of gets lost in the mix, and you're like, oh, sorry, I was just more focusing on like the characters and the story, and I wasn't, trying to do anything inventive with the camera or whatever. But even in those cases, I feel like they still know how to frame shots. They still know how to get the right framing for emotional scenes and action scenes, and nothing has purpose in this film. Right? Like when the camera's moving, or when he goes through, I can't even imagine these things have storyboards. This guy's making like 9-10 films a year. So I'm sure he's just working on the fly. Like, cool, we'll do a crane shot down. We'll use another one up. We'll just have a lot of movement, but it's not going to have any real reason to it, right? I'm not trying to get a higher angle or a lower angle, like the hero shot or whatever, for like any reason, right? He doesn't do that kind of stuff. He just kind of puts the camera in an area and then is just like, I'll use a technique here I learned in film school. And it's like, any purpose behind that? It's no. No, I haven't thought that far ahead. The guy should be making commercials. I think he would be good at making really cheesy commercials. I think that's what he should be doing. But I'm assuming Tubi's paying him money, right, to make these things. So he's making a living and making more than me, I'm sure. And, who am I to say? If he can make a living out of this, fine. But I just think his talents are best suited for TV commercials. Because, yeah, another reason why I blame him for everything here is because he wrote and directed this, and that is the problem. The writing is trash, as one would expect, but not fun trash, just boring. As far as what the movie's about, it's about a woman who, because the title has a double meaning. It's like run from the aliens, but also run from the wedding. So she is about to get married, and her bridesmaids come in the room. She's having a freak out, cold feet, and she decides she is gonna leave the wedding. And when they do, they had a uh, a trip planned to a cabin, isolated and away from everything. I don't really know why, because she's like, oh, can't we still go? And it's like, was this for your husband and you? I'm assuming. I don't know. The dialogue in this is so stupid that it's hard to pay attention to it. But it seemed like it was a trip they had planned, but she was just about to get married. Shouldn't she be going off with her husband, not her friends? Or I don't know. Anyway, that doesn't matter. But yeah, they go off and they go up to this cabin, and of course aliens attack the Earth, and there's a lot of drama that ensues because of like the her running out on her wedding, and she's like talking to him on the phone, or like the friends are meeting up with him or whatever, and trying to see uh, what he's feeling and whatever. It's so much inane, like boring discussions in this, like, supposed to be high octane horror action movie with these big monstrous aliens that are coming down here and wrecking shit and fighting these guys, and there's supposed to be some big showdown at the end. And the actors in this, I'm not going to say their performances are great or anything. They're just like, they're fine. They're like, the actors in this aren't terrible. Like, I think people will watch this and think that they are, and I'm like, no, I think you can just blame the director straight up. I don't think the actors in this are terrible. I think that they're bad, but I think that's the director's fault, right? Like, I think the dialogue that they're giving, the direction that they've been given leads them to give a bad performance in a bad film, but they're all like fine actors from what I can tell. Nothing that I would ever think that maybe they have more range than I'm giving them credit for. It's possible, I suppose, but I don't think Chris is ever gonna, you know, utilize their talents, right? He's not gonna get anything out of them. But yeah, I wish I had a better review to give. I really genuinely thought I was going to be able to sit down here and laugh and have a good time and talk about how ridiculous this and that is. And yeah, it's a bad movie, right? Like, just straight up terrible film. There's no tension. Obviously, the aliens and whatnot are CGI and poorly composited and terribly directed and terribly shot. And there's no, like, style to anything. The characters are all completely devoid of any likability, really. But once again, all of this is on, squarely put on the director. Just plain and simple. There are some silly things, like funny things in the end for me. For sure, spoilers for the film, but who gives a shit? Uh, in the end, of course, the fiance that she didn't marry, who she like finally agreed to marry in the end, a big sweet moment where they're like, "We're gonna get married finally," and of course, they're not going to because things don't go so well. But they're like the final two survivors after their dumbass plans go sideways. Um, there is a funny scene when the president of the United States comes on the TV and he has to explain to the country and I guess the world that the only weakness that the aliens seem to have is they don't like the flashlight on your cell phone. He's like, the LED light on your phone seems to be the only weakness they have. And, if you shine that at them, they won't like it. Who writes this shit? Chris Stokes does. That's who writes it. Um, that was pretty funny. Just so stupid. Um, and then, of course, also their other weakness is if you shoot them in the head, like all beings. If you shoot something in the head, they usually die. So I would try that first. That'd be my first measure when a predator like this comes around. You shoot them in the head if you have a gun, and then if they don't go down, then you go to Plan B, which is run. But yeah, in the end, he goes to do the big heroic moment because they're about to bomb the area, which becomes a joke onto itself in my opinion. But they're like, oh, if we stay here, we'll die. They're out in the middle of nowhere, by the way, but they're gonna bomb the ship, and I guess there's a ship close by. And he's gonna have his big heroic moment where he's gonna save his fiance, and he's like, "You gotta go. All of this is for nothing if you don't." Cheesy, basic dialogue you've seen in a million movies. And then he has a Molotov cocktail. They're all in the house, so they're like attacking the house. They're big burly monsters. They can break through walls, windows, whatever. Nothing seems to stop them except for cell phone flashlights and a gun to the head. And then he's like, they sit there and they have like a 3 minute long conversation fighting about whether or not, who should go, who should live, whatever. She's like, come with me. No, the car's right there. And he's like, I gotta do this. Bro, this is legitimately one of the dumbest scenes I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, the lack of logic in this scene is actually maddening. So the guy's standing there for 3 minutes. At no point do the aliens, I don't know what the aliens are supposedly doing in the house because they're drawn to sound and they're talking very loudly right out front. So they're just standing there and the aliens are just meandering around in the house like, where'd they go? Where did they go? I can't figure it out. I don't know. Have you seen them? No. Have you seen them? No. Right? Like, I don't know what they're supposedly doing in that house, but there's like 10 of them in the house. And then his decision is to walk back into the house with a Molotov cocktail, throw it into the center of the kitchen, I guess, and then just sit in there and die with them? Like, if your only weapon that you have, which the other guy who's the marksman guy supposedly, who doesn't kill a single alien, only gets off like one shot before he's killed. But regardless, he says, I could make what did he say? Like, I could make a home bomb, or like a do it yourself bomb, or what the fuck did he say? I could make a bomb in my sleep, something stupid like that. That was pretty funny to me. But then they get left with is a Molotov cocktail, which is just the liquor they bought earlier in the movie that they got shit for from the very judgy clerk at the gas station. It's a good thing they bought a lot of liquor. But his plan is literally just to make a Molotov cocktail from it and then go in the house and throw it and burn with them. Like, your plan is literally exactly the same if you just opened up the door and threw the Molotov cocktail inside and stayed outside with her and ran with her. It's literally like, I can't even fathom writing that, taking it to people, actors on a set where we're supposed to be making a movie that's for theaters, and being serious about delivering that to people, being like, no, you have to walk in. No one at any point was like, why do I have to walk in with the Molotov cocktail and burn with it? Right? Like a Molotov cocktail, you can throw it, right? Like that's kind of its design, is you can light it on fire, you throw it, and then you leave. The fact he had to walk in with it to throw it and then just sit in the house and burn with them, and we don't even see it happen. We just see the Molotov cocktail hit the counter, it lights on fire, and then he's in the house, I guess, and they all just sit in there and die with him. One jumps out the window, but I guess all the others just die. And then the other one, the one that doesn't die, he just knocks the car over. They have their fight, which is terrible. She shoots him in the head. And then she tries to run off on foot. I mean, her other options are exhausted. I mean, I get it. You gotta run. That's the title, right? So then she like runs, and she's running about like, I don't know, 20 feet. And I'm like, what do you think, you're gonna run out of the blast radius of a nuclear bomb on foot? Like, even if you could get out of the blast radius, you'd still be in the fallout, and you'd still get radiation sickness and poisoning, whatever. Regardless, like, okay, run. She runs about 20 feet before, the fighter jets fly overhead, which is the exact same shot we saw earlier in the film, and the same two cars are burning on the street that we saw earlier. I'm like, how long are these cars gonna burn for? But regardless, she's like, no, I'm still here. I'm still alive. And it's like, the president literally just announced that he's going to bomb all the major cities with all of the inhabitants still alive in them. And she's like yelling at the fighter jets, who can't hear her, that she's still there. And it's like, yeah, we know. We're bombing the city. You're all going to die. Like, this is the sacrifice we have to make. It just, I can't. There's way too many adults these days that are just idiots. I just, I'm not the smartest guy on earth. I didn't even graduate freaking high school, right? Like, I should be one of the dumb ones. You ever think about that? Like, you ever think about, I don't know. I don't know who you, I'm obviously just talking to a general public here, but for anyone like me who doesn't have the academic accolades and whatnot to boast about, and to make me look like I'm so smart and educated, I run into a lot of dumbasses. And Chris Stokes is like, he's an actual moron. Like, I hate to be mean here, but like, I look at the dialogue, unless he's just trying to be funny, or he really is just somebody who's a stand-in for a money laundering scheme, and they're like, put some text into ChatGPT and have it pump out a script, and we'll just film on the fly. You have like an hour to film this movie. Then maybe, but even then, I feel like I could write a better script than this in one day. 100% guarantee it, without question. At least there wouldn't be a lot of like logical errors, right and left. It's just, it's so crazy to me that stuff like this gets made. Like, this got into a theater. This was actually playing at AMC. I saw a trailer to this film before movies when I went to go see like genuine serious films. They were playing the trailer to this like they were being serious. Like, they were like, yeah, someone would want to spend their money on this. Right? Because like, the thing that always kind of trips me out is like, you pay the same amount each movie. Right? So like, you could go see the new Avatar film, and you would pay the same exact amount of money to go see Run by Christopher Stokes. and spend, an hour and a half of your time in a movie like this. Like, this is just, I don't know. These kinds of movies are insulting to me. Like, there's no way anyone thought that this was good. There's no way that anyone thought that people would go to the theater and feel like they got their money's worth walking out of it. This feels like I'm just roasting the guy at this point, but I don't know what else to do. Like, I have now invested enough time for me to have my opinion of this guy's work. I've watched 3 films now, and the guy's a hack, straight up. He's made very entertaining films in the adopted universe. And I do hope he does make a third, but it's only to make fun of it. In no way do I ever expect him to make a good film. And I don't think he's capable of doing it. Prove me wrong, Christopher Stokes. Make a movie that's good. That's even remotely good. That even resembles good. That even has a moment in it that has any degree of logic that a human would be like, yeah, I do that thing. That's how people talk. Anything. But at no point does anyone ever act like a normal, rational human being. And it's just maddening. These types of movies are just crazy to me. So, was the attempt making an entertaining film? I don't see how. This is much meaner than I expected it to be. I'm not going to lie. I actually just sat down to be like, this was very underwhelming. And I thought it'd be funnier. And I was just bored. And I think the actors are fine. I just think they have a bad director. That's like literally all I sat down to do. And then I just kind of started taking my life's frustrations out on Chris Stokes. He's become the punching bag. This is my therapy. I'm sitting here pushing all of my anger onto this random guy who makes shitty movies on Tubi. Jesus Christ, I need to reevaluate my own life. All right, I can't do another Chris Stokes film. I thought that this would like make me do a marathon. I thought this would be fun. I thought that this would push me to watch another Tubi film and discuss it on here and have you guys be like, yeah, do another, do another. No, absolutely not. What a fucking waste of time. That was not fun. That was just painful. So, Chris Stokes, you are a madman. you are a torturer, and you should be stopped at all costs. But make Adopted 3, then retire. Unless you're going to make Adopted 4, then just keep making Adopted movies until you're done and then quit. All right, that's it. Adios.